Like, share, and subscribe to my channel as I continue to provide with trusted information for you to use to make the decision. Now, I want to deal with the topic that is on your screen, depression and men. And my rationale is simple. The society is structured and cultured that a male is ought to be macho, tough, not display the emotions. And because of that sort of structure, that system that actually we are socialized to accept and is the dominant culture, men rarely seek help for illnesses because illnesses normally construed or normally seen as a weakness, and therefore men do not seek physical care despite the fact that they are ill and going through quite a lot. They rather not do so because of the structure and the nature of society and how people interpret if they are to actually go and seek help, except they are taken to seek medical care by their family, friends, loved ones. Normally, men do not want to go. When you actually go further by looking at mental illness is even worse because a number of persons will actually construe mental illness to be a case of insanity, and because of that case of insanity, men rarely want to speak about the issue of illness, particularly the illness of the mind, the emotions. All right. Now, with that being said, the issue of depression is something that is faced by a number of men, and what they do is to hurt in silence. A number of men are hurting in silence, and we have actually sort of seen that where during the COVID-19 pandemic, when a number of men were actually home because they were unable to work because of the shutdown, we saw an increase in one, domestic violence, an increase in sexual abuse, and an increase in number of other social deviant acts displayed by men. So that means that men were not coping with those challenges that they were experiencing during the COVID-19 pandemic. And those challenges have sort of continued and some have actually increased post COVID-19. So what is happening? Our men are hurting in silence, and they are actually home, on the road, at work, and in other places hurting while they are there in our presence. Now, some persons do not take this for anything seriously. Why? Because a man is supposed to be a man, and that is in quotation, meaning strong, dominant, successful, not showing emotion, in control of all faculties, in control of his life, and therefore men do not normally display what they're actually facing. See a number of men like the gentleman on your screen here that is actually going through a emotional turbulence, emotional trauma, emotional situation. And what he does is to sit on his couch, hurting in silence. A number of those men do not have a family, and therefore they hurt in silence. And what they do is to display and carry out their anger, their frustration on other persons at work. So we see a rise in the murder rate, a rise in other social deviant acts, only because the men are unable to deal with real problems that they are facing, including that of depression. Now, what can we sort of do to sort of highlight and understand when it's likely that depression is occurring? You know who people are and how the normal behavior of individuals are. And therefore, there are some things that you can actually observe to see what you can do to assist a male or males that are going through, likely going through or going through depression. One such case is a matter relating to withdrawal. He becomes withdrawn. One, eating pattern changes, sleeping pattern changes, are easily annoyed with other matters could also be an indication of sleeping, not exercising, removing himself from some of the normal activities that he is accustomed to doing. Those are some of the indicators of a male going through depression and other mental health issues that are there. So what we are saying is, if a male is going through depression, some people may want to say, listen, why would you need to worry about a male going through depression? The answer is simple. One, and only one thing. The male is a critical part of the family. Except we want to actually say, okay, then the male is only important because he actually continued the species, the human species. You may want to argue that, but that's not the only way that a male is important. A male is also important for his wisdom, his vision, his physical attribute, his experience, and be able to guide other males to become acceptable, well adjusted males in society. But the male is also equally important to guide the female, particularly children in a household. A female child develops and understands how a male ought to be from the display of her father or a male within the household. And therefore, that also gives you one more reason why the male is also important. So we are saying, if the male is important, or we're not going to say if then, we know now that the male is important, and we have always known that the male is important in society. Now we are saying, based on what WHO shows and based on the research that I have also done, that there was an increasing number of cases of depression post COVID 19. In Jamaica, a study was done on the topic they're actually seeing on your screen, where 1,066 men were interviewed across the 14 parishes of Jamaica. Stratified random sample was actually used, and we found out that 52% of males in Jamaica experienced depression during 2022. Statistics have also shown by the WHO and other agencies, including CDC, that there's going to be an increase in depression and other mental health cases post COVID 19. Now we are seeing what exactly WHO is saying, as well as the CDC, that there's going to be an increase in the number of cases of depression. Why is this so? A number of men have lost their jobs. A number of men are unable to go back to what they normally would do, and they're unable to cope with this. Then there's additional issue relating to the family, maintaining the family, dealing with their personal issues, dealing with self-actualization, deal with self-esteem, deal with accomplishment, deal with security. All these issues males are dealing with, of course, like females. We're actually speaking about the males, and a number of them are unable to cope because the society say they ought to be able to be in control, be macho, be dominant, and therefore a number of them are hurting because their partners and other females are absent from a willingness to assist these males, and therefore these males are hurting and hurting in silence. Now, is there something that we can do about it? And the answer is simply yes. What we can do about it is to assist all individuals who we recognize are going through any likeliness of depression or mental health changes or mental health challenges. What we ought to do is to try to find a way to let them recognize that something is wrong and seek medical care. Remember, I said before, men are not to show weakness, and because they're not to show weakness, many of them do not seek physical health care. And when it relates to mental health, that matter is even worse. And therefore, many of them do not even seek medical health care either, even when there's a clear indication that something is wrong emotionally, psychologically, and cognitively. Remember my channel. It is to assist you to make decisions. And I'm presenting you information today for you to understand that a number of males are hurting. And what we have seen is an increase in domestic violence, an increase in sexual abuse, and an increase in other deviant acts committed by males post COVID 19. Why? They are unable to deal with the stressors of this life. And there is little assistance there to assist them, except the normal things. And a number of women do not seem to understand that caring for the male is equally as important in protecting and enhancing the right and the unity and the wholesomeness of the family and by extension the society. A number of you have been actually watching my channel. I'm asking you to like, share, send to a friend, as well as what? Drop me a thumbs up, give me a comment. Let me hear what you have to say. How are we going to assist these males? And remember, ladies, a number of the males are also in your homes as your children. So we need to help the adult male as well as the youth male. Have an awesome day.